Just a few days after the blockbuster trade that rocked the NBA, new details are emerging about the real reason that Luka Doncic was sent to LA. So let's talk about it. What's up, you guys? I'm Rachel DeMita, and welcome to the Courtside Club. Unless you have been living under a rock for the past few days, that I'm sure that you heard about the insane trade that went down in the NBA. Anthony Davis from the Lakers to the Mavericks for the one and only Luka Doncic. Now, I feel like this is probably the biggest trade that I have ever witnessed in my lifetime. I feel like all of us as basketball and NBA fans will always remember where we were when we found out about this trade, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. It was so unexpected. So many people thought that Luka was going to end his career in Dallas. And for that reason, there have been so many theories swirling as to why he was traded, why it happened like this, and what are the Mavs, what are they doing? So today we are going to go over all of those theories. I will share with you guys my thoughts as well. One that really stood out to me is something that Dwayne Wade actually said yesterday, and this is something that I hadn't truly thought about, but here's what he said. He said, "This is amazing from the standpoint of the business of the game. Luka was number 6 in jersey sales in Dallas. Luka now shoots to number 1 in jersey sales with the Lakers. Now the international market, think about it. We just signed a new TV deal, what, $25 billion? Let's just throw it out there. $25 billion TV deal. You got the top international player in LA, so the viewership, the ticket sales, everybody, Europe, Spain, they're all coming to LA, so I'm looking at the business. I'm like, this was an amazing business decision by billionaires to say this is what I want for now, and this is what we need as a league." So Dwayne Wade here is kind of alluding to the fact that the NBA pushed this, and this is something where they're not necessarily thinking about the fan bases in LA or in Dallas necessarily, but they're thinking about the NBA as a whole, because one of the biggest narratives that has gone on this season is about how ratings in the United States have dipped. One of the other bigger storylines this season, and I made a whole video about this, is about Adam Silver's push to get the NBA in Europe and actually create an NBA Europe league. The league is trying to expand overseas, and they know that Luka is a very valuable asset when it comes to fans overseas. Fans overseas love Luka, and I can attest to that. I've been to plenty of games in EuroLeague and in Abu Dhabi, and the main jerseys that I see when I'm overseas are Kobe is number 1, LeBron is probably number 2, and Luka's number 3. Somebody commented and said, "Is Wade insinuating that this was a setup deal by the NBA illegally?" And somebody else said, "Next step, get Wemby to the Knicks." Somebody else said, "There is clearly something fishy going on with Doncic's trade, considering the pitiful return Dallas got and the fact that GM Nico Harrison only spoke with one team." Just something to think about, you guys. I do agree with Dwayne Wade. This probably is better from an international standpoint, but at what cost? Now, another theory that has been swirling is that the Mavs did not want to pay Luka Doncic the super max, which is what he would be up for after this season. So they were essentially getting rid of him so that they didn't have to pay that super max, which is like $356 million. That would be his next contract in Dallas. When I heard that, I was actually so pissed for Luka, because now that he is in LA, he is no longer eligible for that deal. So he essentially at face value lost $116 million just on that deal alone. That's a lot of money. Then on top of that, when you think about moving from Texas to California, I made a whole TikTok about this. The taxes in California are insane. The state income tax will get you. And the more money that you make in California, the more taxes that you paid. I know this personally because I lived there for 9 years and now I live in Texas, and it's day and night with how much money I earn and how much money I get to take home after I earn that money that I didn't get to when I was living in California. Now, it was also reported that Luka also just bought a $15 million home in Dallas, and he was actually very upset about it, supposedly crying over this because he just bought this brand new home. Now, that same $15 million home that he bought in Dallas will probably be, if it was like the same exact house, close to $40 million in LA. I would be sick. And a lot of other people were commenting and saying, well, he's with the the Lakers now, there's going to be so many more endorsements and things. Luka has a lot of endorsement deals. He was already one of the biggest names and faces in the NBA. Now, will the NBA push him more now that he's with the Lakers? Because I do feel like the NBA, when they pick out their superstars, he was one that they didn't push as much as I think he probably deserved. Will he make more money there because the NBA is pushing him? We will soon find out, but we also have to see if this trade even works. If the chemistry with Luka and the rest of the team, how the Lakers stand now, if this is even going to work, and I'm still so unsure about that. But anyway, at his first press conference in LA, they actually asked Luka if he might not have signed that Supermax deal because there were rumblings like, oh, well, Dallas wasn't sure if he was going to sign the Supermax, so that's why we sent him off. Here's what he had to say.
The chance you might not agree to the Supermax extension. Did you or anyone on your inner circle indicate that might be the case?
Absolutely not.
He just said absolutely not. Like, what else is he gonna say? I'm sorry. I might sound a little heated in this episode, but I'm still not over this trade. I just feel like maybe I'll get to the point where I'm like, okay, this was better for the NBA. I'm not over it yet. I don't like it. If you can't tell, I don't like it. I don't know what's going on. It threw me for a loop. It's crazy. Okay, moving on to our next theory. So there were also rumors that the reason that the Mavs were moving on from Luka is because of his conditioning and his physical fitness, and supposedly he is now at 270 pounds. They were worried about his conditioning and they didn't think that he was taking his job seriously. My rebuttal to that is the fact that Luka plays most of the game in pretty much every game and plays most of the games during the season as well. I think the stat here was like he's never played less than 61 games, or he's average playing 61 games during the season. I'll have to find the exact quote for you guys, but he plays most games. He's not injury prone. He's not sitting out too often. And the fact that the Mavs used that as the excuse, to me, was a little crazy. Like, we know Luka is not a defensive specialist. He's never been. To think that he's going to play both ends of the court and he has to be in this tip-top shape, that's not Luka. It's never been Luka. I just feel like that's kind of a cop-out answer, and I feel like there's something more to that. And there's also someone else who also thinks that there's more to that, and that is Luka's dad. So he was recently on a show, and here's what he had to say. I'm going to just read the captions from this because he's not speaking English, but I'm gonna share with you what he had to say because he didn't hold back. He said, I understand there comes a moment when you disagree with a certain philosophy, you don't like this or that player. All good, I get it, but I think that exactly this secrecy, or should I say from some individuals, maybe even hypocrisy, this hurts me personally because I think that Luka absolutely doesn't deserve this, given the fact that, at least as I know, he sacrificed himself enormously, and even all of the stories now that someone is releasing that he wants to apologize for the things that they're doing, I feel like this is very unfair. From some individuals, because I know that Luka respected Dallas a lot. He respected the whole city of Dallas. He helped children. It was never a problem for him to go to hospitals and to, orphanages and all of these things, charity events. It wasn't even a problem last year, since I am saying again, one individual said he's not fit enough, that he played, 100 games practically, 40 minutes with 2 to 3 players constantly on him, that he was beaten, and you say these things about him. I feel like this is very unfair from certain individuals. You traded him, stand by your actions, but don't look for excuses or alibis, and that's it. Go off, Luka's dad. I'm all for that because I get that. He took them to the finals last year. The fact, I'm so confused, you guys, and you let me know all of your thoughts in the comments below. I could be wrong about this. This could be the greatest trade ever. Dallas might have gotten better. The Lakers might have gotten better. But I'm so confused, and especially for your star player to blindside him the way that they did. There has to be more to the story, but it doesn't seem like there was something crazy going on behind the scenes, like he wasn't getting along with the front office, or there was something truly happening that made Luka this crazy liability. My brain only goes back to the money part of it, or or that the NBA needed him in LA, or there's one more theory that we're also going to get to after this. So from this, you guys, the Mavs fans are pissed. They are so upset. Like I talked about at the beginning of this video, they were holding protests outside the American Airlines Center. Somebody actually brought a coffin and was saying RIP to Luka. And it has now just been reported today that the Mavericks have offered refunds for remaining home games this season to fans who have canceled their season ticket plans. It's valued at around $2,000. So $2,000 per fan that canceled their season tickets for the year. This is not good for the Mavs. And I feel bad for Kyrie. I feel bad for the team that is there because they're probably going to get some fire from fans that they don't deserve. It's not their fault. Now, here's where we get to another conspiracy theory as to why they sent away Luka and why the front office is actively tanking their fan base, essentially, why they are pissing off their fan base on purpose. So listen to this theory. Expansion teams have been brought up a lot. Mavs owner owns casinos in Vegas. Trading Luka would dry out the Mavs fan base and their franchise, and this leads to the Mavs getting relocated. The Mavs owner offered up Luka an order for Adam Silver to move the Mavs to Vegas. I think that would be a travesty. I don't even think that a Vegas fan base would be as strong as the Dallas fan base that you have here. Texas people love their sports. You have the Cowboys in Dallas, you have the Mavs in Dallas, and you have the Mavs who just went to the finals last year in Dallas. And you actively really upset your fan base. And I don't know what else to say about that, you guys. Now, at this same time, the Mavs are already making moves, and just today, they acquired Caleb Martin to the Mavs, so that will obviously help their squad. And there have also been rumblings on the Lakers side that they are targeting Steven Adams. They are looking for another center to add to the Lakers. I feel like with both of these teams, we are going to have to wait and see how this all plays out. I am not sure about the chemistry on the Lakers squad, and I just don't know. Like, it doesn't, to me, even with what they have, I know Luka can do it all, but from what they have, it doesn't look like that's like a perfect team. But you guys let me know in the comments below all of your thoughts. Of course, thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it and click that little subscribe button because we upload new videos every single week. Also, you guys, let me know if you want me to cover anything else from this trade deadline. I know there's a lot going on with Jimmy Butler. We are going to see if he's ever going to find a new home, but there are a lot of moving parts in the NBA. If you guys want to hear more on the NBA side, I know we've been sticking with women's basketball a lot, but if you want to hear more on the NBA side, also let me know in the comments below. But with that, you guys, I'm done with my ramble. I'm done with my rant, and I will see you next time. Uina.